Hey guys, what's up? Just gonna do a little bit of a different video today. I'm just finishing up my new PC build because my old one kind of crapped out on me a little bit. But yeah, just the final part came out or came today in the mail, which is the what we got here, the Deep Cool AIO. It's a 360 rad. I think it's brand new, just came out a few months ago. And with this particular build, I'm gonna try to do more of a white theme. Cables are kind of all over the place right now. I'm just finishing up. I'm probably gonna have to dismount the motherboard and remount it to get the bracket on. But you can take a look at the backside. Didn't really cable manage it too much. The hard drive cage is gonna go over here. I had to take that out because I'm gonna take out the motherboard in a second. And then yeah, some of the fan wires. May have to redo that. But we got a basically a Lian O11 EVO, dynamic EVO. So yeah, I decided to go for a mostly white build. I got the Asus Formula motherboard in here, some I think Trident Z RAM, some cables. I'm probably gonna need a new CPU cable because this one's the Corsair one. I only had one CPU cable here. But yeah, the build's still in progress. I'll give you a more of a look at it once I install the cooler. And then from there, after I install the cooler, I'll try to turn it on and see if it even works. And I'll probably bring down my old PC just to compare the two. But my old PC looks, it was basically white too. It was a white and black theme going on. But this one's way more white than the my old NZXT Elite case, I believe. Which I built that PC back in like 2016. So about 7-8 years, or 6 to 8 years now. Old, and this one's brand new. And yeah, I'll be back in a second after I finish installing the cooler. Then I'll give you guys a more look of a better look at the PC. Alright, I'm gonna try to unbox this thing real quick. I'm gonna do it with one hand as best as I can. So yeah, it just came in the mail. It was the last part I was waiting for. I was trying to go with a AIO that doesn't use a computer software to control the RGB. Because I used to have the NZXT and Corsair, but they kept requiring the Q program and the CAM program they run in the background, which I guess took up a lot of memory and CPU computing power and updates and login and tracking your information and all that jazz. And I just kind of got over it. So Deep Cool makes pretty good AIOs, and I heard this one doesn't really use anything other than the motherboard. Let me sit down a second here. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, had to take the sleeve off. Yeah, and then yeah, they only use the motherboard control to control the RGB. So a little less programs are in the back. All right, well, the packaging looks nice. So I guess pretty basic. So, got your egg carton here. Let me sit you guys down for a second again. Stare at the PC for a second. Sorry, this is not very professional video or unboxing video. Just wanted to show you guys what's inside. Yeah, you got the three fans here. I won't be using these fans. I'm gonna be using the well, I already have them installed right here, but they are the Lian AL120 version 2s. And I decided to get all ALs because they have the SLs, which are better for static pressure, I think, or not static pressure, but for airflow. And then the ALs are better for static pressure, so like stuff like if it's gonna push through your AIO or I guess radiator. But I decided to just go ahead and keep it all the same. Make it look somewhat uniform. Okay, so you got the AIO, 3 fans, and a couple of items in this box, which I assume are mounting brackets. And yeah, pretty simple packaging. All right, well, let me get this installed and then I will show you guys what it looks like after. All right, guys, just finished building the PC. Took a while. Had to do a few things, especially to fit in the radiator, which was kind of difficult. So the radiator is hidden behind the 3 Lian fans over here. But the most difficult part about it was I had to go find longer screws, because the Lian fans, they're 28 millimeters versus the usual 25 millimeter thickness fans. So I got at Home Depot and find some machine screws that were a little bit longer. So I managed to find a couple and finally got it mounted, which is nice. But another installation tip, if you have a 360 rad that you want to fit inside here on the side mount, you may want to put the bracket on there first and then mount your radiator and the fans. What I tried to do was mount the radiator and the fans on the mounting bracket first and then slide it in, but the radiator was just too tall, so it couldn't really squeeze through the very top. I'm not sure if you can see it here. Yeah, you can barely kind of see it, but essentially I had to undo that, put that back in, and then remount it manually. Got the water block on. Don't really know how the cable managed that part yet, but that would be for next time. But all the other wires look pretty good. Cable management, what I could on the back of the case. Not really gonna show it off because it's kind of ugly looking, but I find that it was a lot harder to build in this case than it was some of the other cases I built in. Mainly because the back is actually kind of like tight. It's barely any space back there to fit all the wires that you need. And with this particular build, I try to minimize as much wires as I can, or as I could. And even then, it was pretty hard to get it minimized. All the fans, luckily, only really need like 3 wires compared to some of the Corsair and the other NZXT type RGB connected fans that need a hub. What's nice about this is like you can hook up like a bunch, like all 3 of these fans, they hook up using contact points, which saves you like 6 wires right there, which is really nice. Anywho, I'll clean up the insides a little bit later. I also want to get different or extra CPU cables, the ESP cables, or the CPU cables. I'm just using one, like a black one right there and a white one that I had left over. So eventually we'll buy in that. Got this little like hub thing going on. CMOS error, I'll have to reset that later. I do have I duplicate my SSD over, and so we're gonna have to reset a bunch of stuff and figure that out later once I connect it and go into BIOS. Yeah, I have a 470 Ti here. Plan on just gaming on 1440p. And then over here I have my old build, my old NZXT. Sorry, I'm like on the ground right now. Yeah, this one's running in a 1080 Ti. This is my friend's 1080 Ti. Mine actually just died about a month ago. And I used to have the white cables in here, the cable mod white cables, but I took those cables and threw them into that case over there. Hence the the white cables, where this one's just got the basic I guess black Corsair cables that come with it. But yeah, my old case, my old build from 2016, I think. Gamed a lot on this thing. Never really had any issues. Only had, obviously, besides the GPU finally dying, the only other issue I had was with the pump dying about a couple months in. But I got that warranty, then they gave me a new pump, and this thing's has been working since day one. I did do an overclock on the old chip. The old chip was the Intel, was it 6700K? So I did I think a 4.6 or a 4.5 overclock on it. I think at 4.5 it's more stable. With this particular build, I'm running a 12900K plus the 470. And in this particular build, I don't plan on overclocking anything, just because I know it already runs really hot, eats up a lot of power. I might actually just underclock it. But yeah, we'll figure it out. Figure it out later. Anyways, that's it. Just want to show you my new PC build. It's not something I usually do for my channel, but yeah, as you can kind of see, they're sort of themed. This has more RGB right now, just because I reset the whole thing and it's not on cam, so it's just gone to its default white layout. So it doesn't look as colorful as this one here. But yeah, I think that's really it. Anyways, guys, yeah, I'll produce some more content hopefully, and see you guys next time. Alright, guys, I finally got it up and running. Let me show you guys my PC setup real quick. So I got my monitor over here, and then, well, I guess 2 monitors. Yeah, finally got it up and running. Got the glass on, got the acrylic plastic wrap peeled off. Got a couple of my gun claws sitting up there on top of it. Yeah, it's looking pretty sharp. No RGB on the graphics card, which is okay. I don't mind. Don't really need RGB on that. I think the black and like everything else being white looks really nice with it. Maybe I should have gotten black cables with this, but whatever. Because these are cable mod cables. Basically, all of them are cable mod cables. I still need to get the cable mod cable up there in the corner, and then probably do something like that where I train the cables. Right now, they're kind of just looking a little messy up there. I put the Lian badge right above the motherboard up there. It's supposed to go behind on the cable management bar, but I think it looks better up here. So I just put it up there. And it covers a little screw. There's a little screw hole beneath there, and it looks kind of ugly, so slap that on there. So looking pretty nice now. I got the fan set up too. The fans were crazy yesterday because I had the radiator fans connected to the CPU opt header, which ramped the fans to like 2,000 RPM, and it was just super noisy. It was crazy. So I decided to just reroute the fans, have them connected to the Lian controller, and then set the Lian controller to CPU, and have the Lian controller run it. So the fans are on the radiators are running about 800 RPM, which is nice. The case fans are connected to the GPU, so if the GPU heats up, they run faster. Right now they're running about 600 RPM, which is nice. So you don't really hear anything. So you don't hear any coil or whine or any anything too crazy right now. Pretty quiet. Maybe I'll show you the back of the case. So in the back of the case, I just have my old NZXT puck with my headphones there. And back of the case looking okay. So you see the rad. I couldn't really wire that fan cables across anything too well. But I have my my SSDs there. I have triple SSDs, 1,000 power, I think 1,000 watt Corsair power unit. Didn't really manage the cables too well. That's the only thing I don't like about this case, is that the cable management is a lot harder. There's less channels, less tie down, so you can't really like tie down the cables anywhere. I kind of have to shove the cables in the corner like this. Looks kind of ugly, I guess. That's the only thing I don't like about this case, is the cable management could be a lot better. And it's a lot bigger than my old NZXT case too. Yet the cable management is just way more inefficient and difficult. Airflow is a lot better though, for sure. I gamed a little bit yesterday with it, and max temp with the GPU was about 72 degrees, 75 degrees, and then max temp with the CPU was around 45 degrees, which is pretty good. Right now it's sitting at around 40-ish. Sometimes it dips under, sometimes it dips above, depending if I'm using my CPU or not. Pretty good. Yeah, not much else to say about this build. I got a lot of the parts I got the case and the fans at Micro Center. I live kind of near one, which is nice. And what else? I got the hard drives. Everything else, like I actually got off of Reddit. So like the GPU I got off of Hardware Swap. It was brand new, off of a guy, pretty cool. Same thing with the motherboard. motherboard and CPU and RAM. I also got off of Reddit. Used because I didn't want to pay like brand new prices for them. And the CPU market's kind of on a downturn, so it's kind of nice to be able to pick up some of these parts while they're cheapish. So I got that used. I wasn't expecting to get this motherboard. This is the Formula, the Maxis Asus Maxis Formula Z 9 or 690. I wasn't expecting to get that motherboard. I was just buy something else, but the guy had a good deal for it because he had it on his old his kid's PC and then just didn't want it anymore. And yeah, so I got that with the 12900K, pretty nice. I set up the little live dash to be just GPU temp and CPU temp, so as you can kind of see, it kind of switches back and forth between the two. That's the only temps. That's the only information I really need to know, honestly. Everything else, I don't really care about voltage and all that. I'm not overclocking this computer because I know how hot the these particular CPU can run and how much power it can drain. So I'm not overclocking that. Not overclocking the GPU either. My monitor is a 240 hertz monitor, 1440p. I'm not planning on gaming at 4K anytime soon. I prefer the higher frame rates and the smoother gameplay over the resolution. And so I was playing, I think, Rainbow Six Siege, League, Apex, and they're all basically at max setting. I was able to get the frame rates to be sitting at 240 frames per second, which is really nice. I can up it up to 260, but at 260 it's kind of pointless, and it's only extra 20 frame rate, and I would have to overclock the monitor, which I don't think I really care for. Because that can probably damage the monitor in the long term. Because I did overclock my old monitor, which also eventually died. So I think I'm not gonna overclock this one. I'm just gonna leave it at 240, which is plenty good. I'm not gonna be able to notice the difference between 240 and 260 frames a second. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. If you're wondering what that AO stands for, I looked it up. It's just a reading to tell you that the motherboard has passed its control off to the hard drives, which basically just means that the motherboard is no longer in control. It's basically just the operating system taking control of the whole system, and that there's no errors going on right now. So in case you're wondering what that AO looks, it looks kind of threatening. Looks kind of like ominous or whatever. But yeah, that's all it means. It means your system's running just fine, no errors detected. I'm in the future I might get another M.2. You can't see it, but there's M.2 behind that little live screen thingy mabob, and then there's a couple of other M.2 slots beneath the I/O shield, or the metal thing. So I might get another M.2, and I might get another pair of DDR5 sticks just to fill out the channels. Right now I have, I think, two 16 gig sticks that are running about, I think, 5600 latency, which isn't the fastest sticks, but I got them for cheap because the guy just threw it in with his the whole combo deal. So I am just taking it anyways, and they look nice. I love my Trident Z's. I had Trident Z's on my old builds, if you haven't seen it, and that was before RGB really became a popular thing on RAM. So like my old Trident Z's were just plain white. Unfortunately, I couldn't use them in this build because they're DDR4, and yeah, I just couldn't use them. But they're also pretty low because I got 4 sticks for 32 gigs, where this one's just 2 sticks with 32 gigs. So there's a huge opportunity for me to expand my RAM if I need more RAM. Don't think I ever used up 36 RAM. I know Google Chrome eats up a lot of RAM. A lot of the browsers, they eat up a ton of RAM. So in the future, I might do that. As the rest of this, RGB wise, haven't really messed around with the RGB. I kind of just left it on the rainbow effects right now. I did turn down the brightness a little bit because I had the brightness at like 100%, and that was kind of giving me a headache. But other than that, yeah, I think that's basically just the final build of my or just 90% complete, 95% complete. I just need the cable at the very top there, and maybe a couple of other parts to upgrade. But other than that, I think the PC is great. It's running fine. Gaming it was okay. I haven't really done any editing or content creation with it yet. I'll probably get around to that just to see how fast it can handle some tasks. Um, Maybe patching up this particular video with the other videos I shot. I'm shooting this video on the phone, so it's not that great. I don't have a camera yet to really shoot better videos. I'll eventually get one. I did show it to my friends, or show the build to my friends, and they really like the deep cool water block, I guess. The water block cable is kind of messy too. I probably should fix it up. The cable is a little too long. So sort of a minor digression here, but yeah, the cable right there is just too long. So unfortunately, I don't think there's any way to lengthen it or hide the cable any better. I wish there was maybe a pass through, through the IO, the metal liquid cooling IO shield thing there. Maybe if I can pass it through here and then go around it again, and rather than shoving it down this little crevice, this empty crevice, because that crevice is supposed to be filled with another RAM slot, but yeah, I just kind of shoved the wire in there, so it looks a little nasty. But there's two wires. There's one for the CPU header, which controls the pump, and then there's the one wire that is for RGB, which you can kind of see connected right there. I went up through the little channel right there and wrap it around, and then connect it to an RGB header right over there. So it's kind of not really noticeable. Let me show you a frontal case, I guess. Here's the front side of the case. The wire's a little messy over there. I'll probably fix it eventually. But yeah, everything else looking good. Just want to show it off one final time here. And yeah, that's really it. If you have any questions or need help with anything, just let me know. I'm not like the best CP or PC builder, but done it a few times for a couple of friends and then myself a few years ago, and basically learned everything I need to load off of YouTube. So yeah, I want to do a custom loop, but that costs a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of maintenance. So I decided to just stick with the AIO and call it a day. I don't really feel like doing a custom loop right now. Maybe eventually I will. But anyways, guys, enough of me rambling on. I will see you guys next time.